Guys, I told myself once I was done commencing in my graduation ceremony, every time I broadcast, I'm putting this robe on. So you got to see me in this robe literally all the time. It has been a hot minute. Welcome back. I am so sorry. Today we're talking about justice, okay? Justice as one of the 4 cardinal virtues. And let me just really quickly welcome back to Change Your Perspective, Change Your Awareness, Change Your Life. Dr. Michelina AF, hashtag that felon doctor, here fresh off the official commencement of becoming a doctor. And so it was wonderful, if you're wondering. It was really magical, it was really special. It was by far the best ceremony I've ever been to, through. I have 4 different degrees at this point. I've got my bachelor's in literature, my master's in teaching, my master's in literature, and now my doctorate in organizational leadership business. And I literally have been to a whole bunch of commencement ceremonies. I taught high school. So like I've been through a lot of commencements, and this was the most wonderful experience. I'm so glad that I got to do that. Love my alma mater. It is so special to me. Anyway, so justice. Let's talk a little bit about justice, because I feel like we are woefully lacking it in this day and age. Woefully lacking justice. Let me give you an example that's very modern and very recent and very applicable and very much the antithesis of justice. And it is this. Our country decided to, by our country, I mean the United States of America, if you're not listening from the US, you've still probably heard about this, decided to negotiate with terrorists and to trade a pro athlete for the most murderous man on the planet. Yeah, there's no justice in that. Now, it is true that Russia has some pretty harsh sentences for things that are, at the end of the day, like, who cares? But Russia's prerogative is Russia's prerogative. If you're going to go to Russia, you've got to follow the laws there. Like, sorry, you didn't. The fact that we have traded Brittany Griner for the merchant of death, there is no justice in that. There is no justice in that. Absolutely not. Is not even an equal caliber trade. When you think justice, you want to think equilibrium of scales, right? That's what we always see. Justice in the balance. Any court building you go to, you're going to see those scales, right? If you know anything biblically, there's this phrase, it's mini tikul apausen, and it is you've been weighed in the balance and you're found wanting, you're found lacking, right? It's this, it goes back to Daniel, it's this sort of dismembered hand, like in the Addams Family, you know, that is writing on the wall. If you've ever heard the phrase, the writing's on the wall, that comes from this moment with Belshazzar, which is like Nebuchadnezzar's grandson or something, and God writes on the wall, like, you've been weighed in the balance and you're found wanting, because he's having this party with all of these very sacred items from the Lord's temple that they had pillaged and sacked and ransacked. And so there was no justice in that, and then like 10 seconds later, he's dead. Spoiler, the Lord likes justice, right? We are supposed to like justice, but we don't. Not really. We like bribes. We like playing things to our advantage. There is very few and far between moments nowadays where justice is actually served. And we have a very woeful justice system in this country. And and our justice system in this country is better than most of the justice systems in other countries. Right? So honestly, and I do mean this honestly, like, justice is not something that we hold really tightly in this day and age. It's not. Actually, all of these virtues are kind of woefully lacking, but justice should be the easiest one to see, and therefore it is the easiest one to not see. I was talking to someone today about recompense and restitution, and that has a lot to do with justice, right? So what does that have to do with justice? I'll tell you. Justice means, like, we're going to fall short. We're going to mess up. We're going to do things not correctly. We're going to make mistakes. Like, humans do what people do. Like, we just do. We just are. It's going to happen. What ends up happening when you make a mistake, there's a 2-part process to reclaim justice. First part is acknowledge and ask forgiveness, right? Like, ooh, I messed up. I didn't mean to do that. I am sorry. The second part, which we fall short on before justice can actually be dispensed, is how can I make this up to you? What's the restitution that I need to do? I'll give you an example. In daily life, I washed sweatpants that were not mine to wash, and I shrunk them. And nobody asked me to wash them. I was trying to be helpful. I was not helpful. I made a thing that wasn't a problem because I was like, oh, I know better, and I didn't. And so this person lives in these sweatpants. I washed all the pairs of them. So they had no sweatpants. This person is 6'5". So like I ended up getting the sweatpants. Now, if I was going to ask just forgiveness, right? If I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Will you forgive me? Yes, but it doesn't solve the problem. I have no sweatpants, right? Like I can forgive you for making a mistake, but now I have no sweatpants. There's no justice in the forgiveness. There's just forgiveness and mercy in the forgiveness. Where does the justice come in? The justice comes in when I took it upon myself as an accountable human who likes justice, who has been at the hand of no justice. I went and bought new sweatpants for him because I messed this up. So let me make restitution here. Let me give some recompense here. I messed up. Let me pay the difference. Let me take care of what I did, right? And so then, oh, now there's justice. Not only can I forgive you, but you've also made it up to me because you have bought me new sweatpants. Thanks, appreciate it, right? And it's a non-issue then. That's a lot of the reason why not only are we not good at forgiveness, which we're not, we're really bad at restitution. We're really, really bad at making amends. It's a two-part process to get back to justice. You think about it in like the relationship of a cheating marriage, a cheating spouse in a marriage. You can forgive them, I'm sorry, but the betrayal's there, the hurt's there. So how can you make it up to them? It's not enough to just be like, oh yeah, sorry, I had sex with someone else. Okay, and like how are we making it up to someone else? That's justice. Now, there is a lot of need for justice in our day and age. We don't have a lot of it. We don't have a lot of justice in this day and age because we take everything on precedent. We no longer judge things by a case-by-case basis. We were told, judge it as its own context. Every single, I don't know if you've ever heard this, every conversation is its own universe. Have you ever heard that? One of my business coaches told me it last year and I loved it. Every crime, every infraction, every conflict, every issue, every mishap is its own universe. And so what we do in our justice system now is we base everything on precedent. Right. And so when there's no book to throw at somebody, you have to create a book so you can throw it at them. Or you can use old precedent cases to throw it at the new case. That's not how things were supposed to happen. It's not the way things are supposed to happen. That's not how it was supposed to be set up. And so we have a failing in our court of law, absolute failing in our justice system, because we don't take anything on a case-by-case basis any longer. We judge everything by what happened before. And no wonder why people can't stay in the present, because everything that we're doing is past or focused or future focused. Justice happens in the present, right? Think about the balancing of the scales. It's present, it's focused, it's in the moment. And so we really, really, justice is a hard thing now. And also everybody's trying to, get justice from like years back. Like our country is trying to provide justice for mishaps done 200 years ago. And it's like, we can only do so much restitution. You can't get that time back. You can't get those things back. So how do you provide justice for something that was terribly unjust? It's a very difficult, tricky concept. It's a very tricky construct. And so at the end of the day, what ends up happening is that we have a very warped sense of justice. Very warped sense of justice. It just is what it is. And that's a lot of the times because our justice system is money-based. We take bribes. We do things we should have never done. It's all very fame-based. The courthouse, it's very fame-based. I mean, this is why even like Lori Loughlin didn't want to go to trial, right? Because it's a circus. Our court of law is a circus. Look at Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. It is an absolute circus. And that happened in 1925 when they let the public in to the Scopes monkey trial for the first time. The minute we did that 100 years ago, our court of law got woefully what's the word I'm looking for? Watered down, I guess. Our court of law became watered down because the media could influence the outcome of the trial. You can say that it doesn't. It does. It always does. Of course it does. I know for a fact that the media influenced the results of my trial. I know for a fact it did, because the prosecutor brought up the media sensation, which a court of law is not supposed to do. That's not the place. Media doesn't belong in the court of law. Money doesn't belong in the court of law. But you've got court fees, you've got processing fees, you've got all these things that it's like, I can pay this money to get out of this. If you've ever tried to like get points off your license or something, it's all a business now, right? The government is a business. Don't think it's not. Everything is a business, okay? And that's not me speaking. That's, I've got literature on that, right? Like I've got a doctorate in business. Like everything needs money to function. The government is not different. I can pull the book if you need me to. I've got it in my office. But our court of law is a business. Therefore, justice is not the virtue on which our court of law stands. They say they are. It's not. It's really not. You know, money is the virtue on which the court of law stands. And anybody who's anybody knows the truth of the fact. And there can be no justice where bribes can be taken. Right? So, our judicial system that is supposed to protect, serve, honor, it doesn't. Not really. I got a ticket in traffic law, which is a serious thing in North Carolina. I had no idea. And the lawyer was like, yeah, we just have to find the right judge. That shouldn't be the case. You should never be able to find the right judge in a justice system, right? Right. So what do? That's all justice. That's all justice, right? So what do? We need to do a better job individually of showing up as just as possible. The world ain't the thing. The world ain't the thing. But if we can hold on to justice, if we can hold into our minds of like owning our stuff, being accountable, asking forgiveness, making restitution, if that is a cardinal virtue you hold on to, justice is a cardinal virtue you hold on to, you'll show up more just in things. Punishments will fit the crime. That doesn't happen nowadays. Not really. You know, as evidenced by the fact that we've got people who are in jail for marijuana usage, but like, oh, marijuana usage is legal in like half the states, so like awkward now. So you're in jail for something that's legal in another state. Where's the justice in that? We already know it's not prevalent, right? So justice is an important virtue that is going to start individually. It's not, we've come too far away. We're too far left. We're too far away from the way things were. It's not, don't look to the world to give you justice. It's not going to. Look to the self, right? Come inward and provide the justice that you want to see in the world. Because I'll tell you right now, like, it's just not in the world. So that's on justice. And again, this series is coming to you from one of the users who subscribes, who commented and said, hey, do the cardinal virtues. And I was like, heck yeah, like, love that. So I hope you're enjoying it. We'll talk more about the other two in the next couple days. I apologize again for the delay, but you know, we had to get these stripes, had to earn our stripes, and get used to this robe, because I'm just going to be living in it, guys, like for real. But if you like what you're seeing, comment, subscribe, like, hit the bell, tell your friends. I will definitely be bringing you more content here just for free, just to discuss. And school's going to be opening soon, which is really exciting. And then obviously on Instagram and TikTok as well, if you like what you're hearing. And I will see you guys next time.